We're going to start with Arashi Shibori, one of my favorite techniques. For those of you who are familiar with Arashi, I hope this DVD will give you some new ideas, new patterns, and new processes. If you're a beginner in Arashi Shibori, don't worry, we're kind of starting from the basics, and the basics are pretty easy. I prefer to work with very straight lines, so we'll talk about that, and our end goal will be to create a fabric like this with, and I just realized this sort of looks like flying saucers, but I love the bolder graphic image by distorting the fabric after it's wrapped. You may not like the straight horizontal lines. The wavy ones, the watery lines, are more interesting. But if you're going to do advanced techniques, it's always good to have the skill to make very even folds. So here I go, pushing up, and I'm getting a fold between every string wrap. This is where you wrap the fabric around a pole and add a twist. And once we've done that, we will pull out little pinched areas to make these large floating shapes. What I'm doing is actually putting in a little bias fold. This won't work so well on a piece of fabric that's wrapped in a cylinder. This is a sample I did with this process using indigo. I think it works, but I actually have a scarf that I hope to show you later that is using a silk acid dye. I think my favorite is working with the discharge or color remover on a dark fabric. This is a silk broadcloth, same process, same technique, pulling out the fabric from the little twisted pattern and then putting it in color remover, and afterwards dyeing it in the green. So how do I manipulate the fabric to distort it before wrapping? I'm adding stitches in a very loose spiral. I'm not being very careful. It's really, the point is to just gather the fabric a little bit before it is wrapped on the pole. I'm adding a push. I could push straight up, but I'm partial to the twist. What I just wrapped will look more or less like this, depending on what dye I use. But I have a silk charmeuse scarf here, and you can tell that I have put in similar stitches spaced down the entire length, boom, 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 here and there. And I have wrapped it, put it in hot water, let it dry, took it off, and will rewrap it so that the net pattern will be dominant. Most of you understand what felting is. Felting is taking raw wool before it is spun and woven and shrinking it to make a solid, coherent fabric. You can also shrink woven wool if it has not been overprocessed, and that we call fulling. So today I'm going to talk about several ways of using shibori, particularly Arashi shibori, to create areas of gauze and then areas where we are shrinking the wool to be felted, or more accurately, fulled. So these are lightly felted. This piece is still pretty gauzy. It was run through with one cycle. It does have a nice texture that was created by the fulling. I actually wrapped and dyed this fabric in a silk acid dye before I did the fulling process with the paste. So that's why it has blue chevrons. And here is our gray wool gauze that was painted with the paste with the addition of wash-fast acid dye, which is for proteins, silk or wool. That's where you see the black zigzag or chevron pattern. This piece was actually wrapped twice so that you have intersecting, crisscrossing lines with the addition of the dye into the paste on a white wool gauze. Of course, most of us don't want an entirely white piece of fabric. We love color. So I could dye this. In fact, I could rewrap it in a shibori technique and put it in the dye bath. In this case, this is actually a different gauze. It started white, and then after the fulling, I dyed it into the yellow-green. You can see here, this is a different gauze, and there are areas of gauze against the shrinking. Then I added some bits of wool yarn that were needle felted into the wool to create some dots.